done since coming back to the club to replace Sean Dyche in January.
Yes, third hand, a steady hand, that's what was required that Sean Dyche can replace. And David Lloyd has certainly been able, to give them that. So the players found themselves again, didn't they? They're just going to believe all around the place. And of course, they're going to the new season in a new stadium, feeling really good about themselves.
The dream of Europe remains for Fulham, but the margin for error is minimal. Last weekend, the beast saw Marco Silva's side drop down into the Premier League's bottom half. But such is the nature of this season's fight for qualification that only 2 points stand between themselves in 11 and Bournemouth in 8. 3 games left to claw themselves to where they want to be, but with the challenges of a trip to Brentford and the visit of Manchester City still to come after today. A must-win it might just be here this afternoon against an Everton side struggling for results, but able to play with a late-season freedom that a few months ago never looked possible. A huge, historic week awaits for Everton as they prepare to say goodbye to Goodison Park next Saturday. But first, can they then Fulham's push for Europe? And of course, today also sees Marco Silva coming up against the club that dismissed him back in 2019. It is a glorious day here in the capital as Fulham look to find a strong finish to the season that will have them getting their passports out in a few months' time. Let's take a look at the teams here this afternoon. Marco Silva makes 2 changes from the side that lost at Aston Villa 7 days ago. It's a 108 successive Premier League start for Bernardo. That is a record of successive Premier League starts for Fulham. No Anthony Robinson for Fulham today, so Ryan Sessegnon starts a 6th successive game, but today he's moved from right wing to left back. Sasarupic misses out with an injury that he is expected to return from next week. Andreas Pereira comes into the side. Emil Smith-Rowe returns to the starting lineup whilst Alex Iwobi comes up against the side he left in 2023. Harry Wilson shifts from the centre up to the right. It's now 7 games without a goal for Raul Jimenez, his last coming in the defeat of Brighton at the start of March. Rodrigo Bolis remains out injured for Fulham. Tom Kearney was one of the Fulham scorers the last time they beat Everton here at home in 2019. David Moyes makes 4 changes from the side that started the draw against Ipswich last Saturday. England goalkeeper Jordan Pickford continues his run of starting every Premier League game this season. There's 2 changes in the back four, with Ashley Young coming in to start for the first time since David Moyes' first game back in charge in January. Michael Keane also starts for the first time since November. Gate and James Garner continue to be the pairing of choice at the base of the Everton midfield. The other 2 changes to the team see Joe Harrison come in for Dwight McNeil, whilst Abdoulaye Doucouré takes the place of Ilian Ndiaye. Last week saw Beto score for the first time in 9 games. He scored 4 minutes into stoppage time to rescue a point when the sides met back in October. Orlando Brugge, who was on loan here at Fulham in the second half of last season, is one of David Moyes' options on the bench. It's a curious case of the home side not winning any of the last 7 Premier League meetings between these 2 teams. As I mentioned, Fulham's last win here against Everton came all the way back in April 2019. And unfortunately, the last 2 meetings here at Craven Cottage have finished goalless. We'll hope for better here this afternoon. As you would have seen, Marco Silva today on the Fulham bench. Stuart Gray will be giving the instructions from the dugout. Marco Silva serving a touchline ban after picking up his 3rd booking of the season at Aston Villa last weekend. So we're underway here at Craven Cottage. 4 defeats in their last 6 for Fulham. It is an untimely run. as the season's finish line draws upon us. They really can't afford to fail an afternoon where they need to find 3 points. Everton just 1 win in their last 10 games, but 6 draws in that time, and that shows Everton that they are a stubborn side that are difficult to beat.
Yeah, it's the hallmark of their United side, isn't it? Yeah, they are a top outfit. Of course, lack of creativity has been levelled at some of his sides. A lack of ambition sometimes, especially against the bigger clubs. Safety was on his side. That's been secured.
Really has dragged Everton away from danger. David Moyes, 1 point above the relegation zone. When he came back to the club for a second spell. No such worries, no such fears for them now. You just saw Marco Silva, who is just above us, watching on and in communication with the Fulham bench. Here's Iwobi up against his former club today. Smith Rowe, Andreas Pereira, surrounded by Everton players. Smith Rowe, a little bit scrappy, but Fulham still threatening things. In there. Nothing doing in the eyes of the referee, Darren England. And Session looking to step in and step forward in this position. What an alternative for Fulham to have that. Anthony Robinson missing out today. Yeah, versus our player on that far side is Ryan Session. Handball, yeah. Just got to be a little bit disciplined, especially early on in the matches. Ryan Session always looking to get forward, so Calvin Bassett alongside him will be important in reining in his attacking instincts. Chance for Everton to take the ball with him, and it's cleared away by Calvin. He was impressed plenty with his performances for Fulham this season. And the long throw seems to be fashionable in football once again, and are we going to get really illustration of the difficulties that it's never really gone out of the game, has it, to be honest? Maybe 1 or 2 great experiments. From Ghana, the target second. He's looking to make a nuisance of himself. It takes the strike point. Ricochets on Sessignon. So for the goal at the Emirates last week for and then also deploying that tactic over and over again on Wednesday night as they look to turn that Champions League semi-final around. It's a glorious day here in South West London. Everton had a few difficulties in their journey here. They didn't get here till round 10-2.
Yeah, they were staying at a hotel in West London, which is just a few miles away. I mean, if they jump on a tube at the beginning in about 15 minutes, not quite that straightforward, is it?
And anyone that's come to Craven Cottage or who lives around this part of London, we'd always advise you to use up plenty of time travelling around. Everton's got plenty of us winning here today. Centre strides through the centre circle, purposeful run from him. It's just over right before they.
He does that well, something, but it's not often enough for my liking. He's actually United, he was a great expert of it. He's always played a lot more further forward in the field, to be honest. It's got the holding road in front of the back ball these days. That's not allowed to charge forward like that.
It's Iwobi is going to charge him now. Smith Rowe in possession. He picks up the cross. Down by Wilson, who had 140 in mind. Sees his own cross. Like it to Wilson. Straight down the program. Jordan Pickford just calls for a little card from his teammates.
Yeah, straight at the goalkeeper. Jordan Pickford was never going to spill that one. And the first chance up that was going wide anyway. Another bite of the cherry. Had a couple of opportunities against Aston Villa last week.
By Neto. A very good chance for him, wasn't it, from a header in the second half?
Yeah, there was also one he played through. He tried to lob it over the goalkeeper, Martin, and didn't quite connect. It was clearly as he would have liked. I mean, that was the best man of that game was the meltdown for me, Emery on the touchline when the chance was conceded after Mr. Contra. I think he was a man guilty of giving the ball away. You couldn't have a fit. It's fine. Such a passionate coach, isn't he? Always very animated on the touchline. Of course, he's hoping his Aston Villa side can still drag themselves up into the top 5. Fulham's hopes to drag themselves into the top 8, which we thought could be enough for European football next season. Fulham haven't played on the continental stage for 13 years, and there's certainly been times this season when it's very much looked as if it might happen for them, but this recent run of form has it now looking somewhat difficult. Brentford away next weekend. A huge game potentially with Brentford also in contention. Manchester City side who found form again to come here on the final day. Harrison looks to cross it. Delivery of depth to the back post, which is cleared away by Tete. Yeah, they will sharpen the decision under pressure. It's at this highest. Some of those mid-size and even quite big clubs, they're not able to keep pace with the true giants of the game, are they? Forest have stepped up in recent weeks. Fulham have found difficult ball work up the club as well, despite the fantastic victory against Everton last year. It's very much as if we might have an unfamiliar name representing the Premier League in Europe next season. Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth, just desperate for it to be there. Also playing here is Tete is currently down, holding his head. Confirmed this week that Timothy Castagna, who had been playing at right back for some time through the course of this season, will be out until just after the beginning of the pre-season for next year. Silva looking down, peering down. He's gone for a rather steep view up on the fifth level of this Riverside stand. And Tete fell that right in the face from 3 or 4 yards away. The cross of Nikolenko to flush. Still up for Kenny Tete, but good to see that he's back up on his feet. Getting back underway, and Anderson, who likes to play those long passes forward, just a bit too much on that as it travels beyond Raul Jimenez. Brought down by Berger. And Sessegnon on the scamper into Iwobi. Who's having a brilliant season. 15 goal involvements for him. Is with despite some distance in his Premier League career. As you can see, favourites to win, according to our win probability calculator, over a 50% chance of doing so. But can they get the job done? Possession given away cheaply, and will sweat to better, getting Tete in on the cover as well. So the penalty should be pretty good. And they're looking at the benefit of the doubt to Pereira. I think he wants it. We'll take her in the end. Sessegnon, how often will we see him show the adventure to get into those advanced positions? Of course, it's something we're so familiar with when we watch Anthony Robinson. Sessegnon, a player who is used to playing higher up the pitch, as Bassi now looks to sweep one in the direction of Raul Jimenez. Brathwaite let it run across him. Mikolenko there for Everton, and will just hoist him up towards halfway where Beto can find the corner. Tete. Just to cut it out. A very scrappy opening 9 minutes. Other side able to get any kind of rhythm in the game. Stretching off back there as the tackle's waiting, but the ball broke to Smith Rowe now. Is it to Iwobi? He won't be shaping to shoot, but just didn't quite catch it as he would have wished. He normally goes to a curler as well, Alex Iwobi. And setting up just outside the left post, who's going to drive it. He's not a clean strike with the ball like that. Surprised he decided to take a shot on like that. Looking to go again here. Wilson knows that he's got Tete to his right. Stack of players editing around the back post as the cross comes in. It's running away. Michael Key
Sessignon sends it back in, but there's too much on it.
Yeah, there's that tendency sometimes when you have any sort of forward momentum into the ball to flip it gets too much height. If that was the case, no distance.
I think Moyes says it's imperative that his team finish the season well. Some momentum to take into next year. He's made 4 changes to his team today. Changes that have been enforced in a couple of those situations, but he says he's also keen to see a bit more of players that haven't had as much game time as he assesses his squad stepping into the summer.
Anybody who wants to stay will be keen to impress in the last couple of games of the campaign. New stadium to move into in the summer.
I think it's looking new home that will be Everton's from the start of next season. It's going to be some week, an emotional week for Everton as they say goodbye to Goodison next Saturday lunchtime. Disappointment for them last week in the final 3 p.m. traditional Saturday kickoff with their old ground and scored at a 2-0 lead against the relegated Ipswich Town. A disappointing day for sure. He's gone. Started 13-0 the last 14 Premier League games now for Everton. Their way across the pitches. Iwobi, the ball cut out into Corey's there. To Beto Anderson. Charges in with the challenge and sort of contact the referee in England fields. So we're on to the free kick. Fans in fine voice. They were simply boisterous move down the Fulham Palace Road in the sunshine. And had a pick up here this afternoon. An enjoyable end to the season for them, and into the season with no threat, no fear. Excitement about what is to come over the next few years as we've swept out to Mikolenko, printed out beautifully. Ghana did a broom for it. Opportunity to measure across to the post, heading back across, Bassey steps in. Scare there for Fulham, but big clearance.
Yeah, fine. That was finishing well to begin with Calvin Bassey. As soon as he saw the fight to the ball back across from Jack Harrison, made that timely intervention, starting with a wonderful ball in crossfield from Michael Keane. It was a ground rock for Bassey's compliments. Looking on this, he was such a centre back. So Jordan was the pass with Mark Anderson using the long range passer from those crossfield out north of exceptional. He was the rest of the team. Wilson rolls it across to Iwobi. He looks to get a strike away, but he finds actually Young standing in the way. Actually Young starting for the first time since January. And again, Iwobi again, plenty of touches for him early on against his former club. A club he spent 4 years after joining them from Arsenal for big money back in 2019. 6 Premier League goals for him in 123 games. He's really scored more than double that. Just over half the games for Fulham. Who's looks to break forward. Also goes in trouble. He's got to get close and sort of scoot around the outside. Easy let off.
Michael Keane looking to sweep it longer. Ronald De Boer, who has had a task on his hands there to keep that in play, but he acknowledges the attempt to find it.
He's out of contract at the end of the season, Abdoulaye Doucouré. Talk about whether he's going to stay or go. not happy with the deal that's been offered out here. I imagine there'll be plenty of interest in him. This is scored such a crucial goal, didn't he, for Everton a couple of seasons ago to keep them in the Premier League. This is a narrow victory over Bournemouth. Most of his goals seem to be quite important. He doesn't sort of do a window dressing goals as a great importance to them. And steps across, just hits there a bit of a rope. Just go back to that point about Decore and his new contract. David Moyes was asked about it yesterday, and it's almost the typical David Moyes answer. He said some of the games he's played very well, but the season is spring chicken. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we do the right thing. So there's a need for Everton to be prudent. Difficulties, of course, with the financial regulations over recent seasons. Yeah, Fulham on top. Taking the numbers from the first 16 minutes of the game, 60% of the ball and 4 attempts as well. Just the one so far from David Moyes' side. Sessignon from just got to speed things up a little bit. Smith Rowe comes up a push. His eyes would have lit up as that ball came his way. Just the kind of service he lives for. His first goal in 8 games. Fulham ahead. A touch up to 17 minutes play. The promise at the forward goal. Anytime the ball is put in the box of quality, Jimenez will attack some more. And once he gets a run on Mikalenko, gets in behind it, Everton centre backs. Always a chance the Mexican is going to get on the end, and it's such a powerful and determined header of the football from 5 yards out. That's pretty much unstoppable. Lovely cross from O'Neill Smith Rowe, arcing away from the goalkeeper. Enough pace on it. Time to readjust in case you get caught a little bit by a defender. Superb header. Look at that, brave, powerful. That's my ball. Trying to make this beaten. Mikalenko's got no chance. And neither did Pickford. It's the kind of Raul Jimenez goal that we've seen so many times down the years. Put the ball in the right areas, and that is what he will do. An 11th Premier League goal of the season for him. You have to say it is. Reward for Fulham beginning this game, the better of the two teams. They carried the greater threat, they played with the greater purpose. An afternoon, which you feel they have to take the 3 points. They couldn't have made a better start. I was surprised actually that Smith Rowe didn't see many crosses on his wing side. But that's something that Jimenez will appreciate all day long. Before the defence can get set, he's got a chance then to absolutely maximise whatever space is there. David Moyes won't be happy with where that was defended. In truth, it was a well-worked goal from Fulham. Of course, you can pick holes in any goal that you can see, but good credit to the attacking side. That's the third assist of the season for Emil Smith Rowe. There has been a feeling that his numbers could be better, could be more impressive from him, but he did everything right there to get a service. Raul Jimenez, the service that he was wanting. Here's Wilson, putting their tails up here. Wilson savagely charging across to make the change, and Fulham can build once more. Raul Jimenez just filling up a little slowly. Of course, Fulham don't have Rodrigo Luis available on the bench today. It's Vinicius there. Obvious. The striking option. Posing plenty of problems down the left-hand side. 53% of their attacks have been in that third. And that's Robinson. But the problem it seems at the moment for Fulham
maximising that part of the pictures. Then it breaks down for Everton. We just can't get going here today.
Yeah, despite the absence of Robertson, it's where sort of Fulham tend to overload a lot of their attacks. So the players are almost sort of drilled, to be looking for that area of the field.
Iwobi just crushed off Ryan Sessegnon.
Which I remember it was the Smith row, wasn't it? Sessegnon couldn't get out of the way.
We've seen those numbers which indicate Fulham are looking to do here today as we take another look at this. Brilliant ball in and fine header from around Jimenez. Look at the Everton defensive, but 2 changes today, both those changes on Everton's right, which Fulham look like they're exploiting down their left.
Yeah, I think Fulham play well enough that they can cause problems for the new side when they're playing well enough. They beat Liverpool, didn't they, a few weeks ago? So they are not to be taken lightly on their own turf.
Stands in and one misjudged that. Listen, taking the right decision to deal with it himself.
And what Iwobi does well on that far side is if the Belgium's not left footed, he hooks that touchline pretty well. That allows the underlapping Robinson to come in so often when he's in the side. Pretty much is every weekend. At the moment, it's Sessegnon, and sometimes he'll put the inside and allow them to go on the outside. So well drilled on that side of the field. For
Wilson gets for it first time. Pickford was worried. He dropped just wide. His left hand goes on Harry Wilson. He's playing with all purpose here so far this afternoon, and they're looking to put Fulham into a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, I don't think he was overly worried, Jordan Pickford, yet. Pulled his hands away at the last moment. Would have been something special to beat the England goalkeeper from there.
So another flying campaign, Jordan Pickford.
Someone in the midfield battle quite comfortably at the moment. Sanky to the face of which to build attack after attack.
So Sander Berge winning possession back once again. He's done that 4 times and
that's right.
Player so far this season. He finds himself double up on there and loses possession, and there's room for Alcaraz to step into it. Never comes in for Harrison. It was straight up. A lovely first touch of Jack Harrison. He'll be really disappointed with that finish. Comfortable save for Burnley now.
It's a full back.
You can say that Fulham have a real masterful ball manipulator, couldn't they, in the middle of the park, but they do have better control. And it's not a good position, really, that David Moyes seems to feel. I wouldn't say you double feel the need to have somebody who's a bit better on the football. Every team would like a couple of real masterful ball controllers, but it seems to never have one in his size. As a result, his teams do often get outplayed in the middle of the park. When you're not keeping the ball as well as the opposition, and they do a lot of defending, especially away from home.
Down by Smith Road. 3 wins on the road for Everton since David Moyes returned to the club. 3 out of 7. Multiple upturning away performances since he came back to the club. They've won 1 of the previous 21 away games.
Yeah, that's a decent return, isn't it?
Tete just steps in field. He's drifted into a central position. Well, as we can see, Fulham have moved up into the top half as things stand. But Brentford doing what they need to do today as well so far, leading against Ipswich by a 0-0. It is so tight, isn't it, in that race for 8th place. Brighton in action against Wolves today. No score there. Bournemouth in action against Aston Villa at the Vitality. That really intriguing getting down on the south coast. I think there'll be a few twists and turns and changing of positions between now and the end of the season. "25 minutes played at Craven Cottage. Everton starting the game a little sluggishly. They had that good chance over to Jack Harrison. So Hilton at home, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I'm sure already, and then Newcastle away. St James's Park on the final afternoon of the season on the 25th of May. That very likely to be a very difficult test given what Newcastle are playing for right now. Time this afternoon, the sun's just tucked behind the clouds as it just drops by a couple of degrees inside Craven Cottage. A packed Craven Cottage for this, the penultimate home game of the season. Kalinka hasn't had too many opportunities thus far to venture forward.
Well, certainly racking up the number of touches on the Everton players, but Fulham just couldn't take them well enough. And backwards and sideways just to fill the forward through ball. Not a bad one, actually. Jack Harrison, which brought Bentley out of his penalty area, but brought to Mikalenko. Looks for the switch of play, brought down by Decore. Harrison scheming, looking to get to Sexton. Another player knows where the ball is. There's the opportunity for a Ruby to support his fullback to get the ball away. The goal that's gone on Fulham score, it's taken the edge off the attacking intent, hasn't it? And we just to sit and contain and see Everton on the counter attack.
One thing that certainly has hampered Fulham's push for Europe this season has been the number of points that they've dropped when in favourable positions in games. 25 points they dropped from winning positions. Only 3 sides have a worse record. It's the most they've ever dropped in a Premier League season. They also won 18 points from losing positions, so they've been a very entertaining team to watch through the first 35 games of the season.
When you're saying all that, they sit 11th in the table, they've jumped up a place, haven't they? Taking this leading score. That says it's an extremely competitive league, isn't it? There are so many teams that are equally adept at winning on their day against almost anybody in the division.
Mikalenko challenge comes in from the tracking Harry Wilson, Marco Silva. I'm very grateful for the efforts of Wilson now. Some defending to do for Marco Silva's side. It's actually Young. It's a long diagonal trot across to take this corner. 5 goals from corners so far this season for Everton, which isn't a particularly high number, but they have scored 36% of their goals this season from set pieces. There is a bit of a reliance upon them as they work this one short. Young sweeps it towards the back. It's just not under it a touch too much.
It's difficult to control when you're running towards the ball with a little bit of speed.
So the changing, isn't it, these positions in the league table? We just showed you the movement that Fulham have made. Brighton now have taken the lead in their game more than you. It's the Wolverhampton Wanderers side that are in really good form. So everybody taking care of their business so far this afternoon, with Brentford also ahead in their game at Portman Road. The side that have slipped from 8th down to 11th as they wait to get into action a little later today against Aston Villa. from the beginning of the day in the bottom half, and spent a good portion of this season in the top half of the table. Very rarely out of it. Been lower than 12th. One moment in the campaign, and they've moved up to 6th after a 3-1 win here against Brighton back in December. They've always been there or thereabouts. It's where they finish which is going to matter. Mikalenko, plenty of time. Get away by Anderson.
Not a great delivery. To cut out the Fulham defenders there.
He steps in and read that well there before the ball. As you can see, they're just starting to move into this game. So, a bit of a grip of possession. 3/4 of the ball in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, the goal has built the edge, isn't it, for Fulham? It's gone into a real lull.
I'm sure.
Then finds himself up on in midfield, and again Everton come away with possession. The Corey into better. So they wanted to do, but Sessignon steps in. He's got himself ahead of the ball here. Garner just cuts that one out. Iwobi wins the challenge. Now under pressure once again. The tactic of Everton here, something they've identified to stop those breaks from Berger through the middle of midfield.
He's the one giving the time, but I was the no-type player. You're right. It's just chance that they've decided that he gets too much time on the ball.
Have a bit of time here as he look around Sander Berger and tries to up towards halfway.
So two things need to happen with Berger. He needs to have a good picture in his mind as to what to do with the football before it arrives at his feet, or if he was so feel the shopping crowd that once he gets it, he needs to accelerate into space very quickly. Or move into an area where a few Everton players and try and receive the ball back to a bit further up the field. That will need a little bit more bravery from Anderson and Bassi with the football to take a few more chances offensively, which is not his remit. Let's see how it pans out the next few minutes, whether actually able to get on the football or not.
Into Berger it goes. Across comes Gable, pushed on to find an off-balance Emil Smith Rowe. As I mentioned, none of the previous 7 Premier League meetings between these two have been won by the home team. Putting themselves into a good position here. Everton just starting to pose a few problems and ask a few questions, although it's had a great deal to do thus far. One save really from Jack Harrison. It's on across his body and finds a Iwobi with a space ahead of him. Towards Andreas Pereira. Just screwed up now. Pereira to keep it in place. Sweeps in the cross, hoping for him as it breaks to Iwobi. Couldn't quite get it under control quick enough. And Ron is able to step into Corey now. Berger comes across, wants to give him a taste of his medicine. And dispossessive. Smith Rowe. Andreas Pereira. He's going to have a go for it here as well. He has an eye for the spectacular. He's not afraid to take the on from distance, but we wish that he could have that one back. I wish that he made his mind up to try and shoot with a bit more conviction. He had thought about the pass, nobody really couldn't come in towards him. A few voices in the crowd urging him to shoot. And that didn't trouble anybody.
Strangely subdued atmosphere, isn't it? Well, it has been certainly since the goal. Sometimes it's not a good thing, I think, for the fans.
It's a touch up right now around Craven Cottage. Plenty on the line here today for Fulham. Gets there ahead of Raul Jimenez.
Serving James Coleman and the returning Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
James Coleman will get some minutes next Saturday in the Goodison goodbye. Hasn't played too much this season, just the 3 appearances for him. Dominic Calvert-Lewin really got some minutes, didn't he, against Ipswich? His first appearance since picking up an injury all the way back in January.
Yeah, long time out. He's another player out of contract as well, isn't he? Yeah. Recent news about whether he signs a new one or leaves on a free transfer.
He's a player, isn't he? Loaded with talent, plenty of potential on the Calvert-Lewin, but it's the fitness that is and has been the concern for him for some time, hasn't it? 19 starts this season, 26 last year, and only 15 in each of the 2 seasons before that. David Moyes said that he was brought him on a little quicker than he would have wished. Marco Silva in isolation off above us, just watching on. Seems fairly relaxed. Something in communication with his coaching staff down below.
Yeah, the stress of the touchline is not there, is it, today?
He always seems only right on the edge of his technical area here at Craven Cottage. And grew so much on the sidelines. And of course, you can see his frustration was spilled away from Nick and Raul Jimenez. Now, Rory Wilson looking for the angle. It breaks to Raul Jimenez. Now, Rory, who clicks it towards goal. The OT could have done, should have done better. Perhaps a bit too much pace on the pass for Raul Jimenez, who hit it first time. Slopping it away from Everton on this near touchline. Yeah. Harry Wilson actually went for goal himself, trying to get through the legs of Branthwaite. Yeah, that's didn't quite sit for the right foot. He didn't adjust his body at all. And then he's gone for the scoop finish, and that's extremely difficult to get that over and over the head of Michael Keenan down. It's asking a lot. We saw Jared Branthwaite have a problem a few moments ago, and he's now down inside Everton's 6-yard box. Most of the players who come over to this near side to take on board some fluid on what is a warm day here in southwest London, and not just taking on board fluid as well, they're taking plenty of instruction, those Everton players, from David Moyes.
It's not a designated water break, is it? It's not that warm.
Players just make those decisions themselves nowadays, don't they, when they know there's a pause in play. This is how Jared Branthwaite picked up that problem as a challenge with Raul Jimenez.
In the centre half, you're not even in the game with Raul Jimenez. At the end of 90 plus minutes.
That Jared Branthwaite can continue. They are going to be better defensively when he is in the side. The goals they concede per game is almost half of Branthwaite plays compared to when he doesn't. Just saw even Patterson just going for a few warm-ups down on the sideline. Start drawing towards its conclusion here as we enter the final 5 minutes. So, pulls away from that. Harrison twisting and turning, and Sissy can only clear as far as Alcaraz. Alcaraz just hooks it on for Harrison, but Fulham hunting the ball in attack, and Bassey comes away. He loves to search for it. He's on his way here. Harrison steps in, and now there is plenty of room here if the ball's ready through to Beto Anderson, looking to come across. Sissy pulls out of the charge. There was a risk there. Until the throw deep in Fulham territory. Bruce runs forward from Batsy, can unlock the door and give you an extra play. But if you do lose possession, it can cause a problem for you.
There's a big hole, wasn't there, alongside Joachim Anderson.
James Garner preparing to hurl this ball in once again. Branthwaite and Keane both forward. Anderson gets high early. It goes behind for a corner.
So will be fuming if they concede the goal for a set piece. After being pretty much in control of the football as Bassey charged forward. And Everton do have some powerful headers of the football, the two centre halves, and an obvious threat.
Four players positioned inside the 6-yard boxes. Keane and Branthwaite make their move from deeper. Keane gets his head to it. Assessing the ability, the potential here to launch Fulham forward quickly. Which he hadn't bothered.
It wasn't a bad ball, it wasn't overhit. I mean, the wind sort of called back, didn't it? Just to slow down in the end. About 2 minutes to be the one chasing down that.
Situation and a free kick was probably the best that he could have made from that, and he gets it as well. And Everton looking to get on with things.
Yeah, the other side, he will take unnecessary chances, especially when we've not even reached half time. It's only one goal between the two sides. Everton and Fulham with the goal don't need to. They have to be the ones to be on the front foot and be the aggressors. They did dominate the football, especially in the opening 25, 30 minutes. And I said the goal is still their edge, and they're just happy to contain us as the wanted end of most modern day coaches. They get that goal and put themselves in a fantastic position. And then they are seemingly obsessed with control and trying to sting the opposition on the counter.
It's clever to find Wilson. Planes on the cross. Now he's made himself a yard or two. Wilson, can he get a goal away? He's touched around the good touch quickly. Integrating play from Wilson, but did he take too long to get that strike away? You know what? I mean, he was just never quite set. He's a good strike with the ball. Yeah, there's one. There's a second little shimmy. He's just keeping his hand in the opponent's good save from Jordan Pickford. Sometimes when it's not clearly hit like a tiny deflection as well. It's a good deflection of James Garner. Not much of one, but enough. That's a good start. Easily to see the goalkeeper and slip inside that near post. Wilson and Pereira in discussion. Already scored 4 goals from corners this season, and 3 sides have scored fewer. Plenty of thought, though, going into this situation. That's 2, remember? Just shift it forward 5 yards. Wilson is a long ways, about 15 yards from the ball. Steal a couple of yards there. I didn't think about it this time. I hope it can be this time. Yeah. Something to Pereira, the shape to shoot, and then just send it inside for Wilson to come around it. Knock that ball towards the far post. He's not there, but he's taken towards the goalkeeper. There's too much curl on it. And he comes, and I think the delivery, but it wants to clear the penalty area. Good time to play in this first half. 3 minutes. We're going to the adding on. Fulham make their walk across to the changing rooms here at Playing Cottage. A bit more enjoyable. Regulation of those 3 minutes coming from our 4th official, Sam Allison. It's a diagonal ball and he sweeps it out, seeking a win. Impressive header from someone situated in the front row there.
What's this last is in the process?
Seems a good idea at the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Entertain the crowd. Can Everton find a way over it perhaps before half time? Beto gets there just ahead of Anderson and the contact between the two as Anderson just limping away. Anderson arrests Sessignon.
Can't be complacent. Sorry, but they can't be complacent on the football in the middle of the park. Especially in the back line when type of players that Everton possess, they seize on any opportunity, really aggressive in the way they try and recover the football when they need to under pressure. Starting to sort of pan out that way in the last few minutes of the game. And there'll be more of that in the second half when David Moyes says a few words with them at the break.
Flights one on it, forward with plenty of loft met by Messi. Threatening it, just quickly, just to get himself in the way.
Yeah, there was a lot on that stop. Leonard just had to make sure he wasn't beaten. A shot between the legs, and there were no options really for Alcaraz. The Everton teammates, pretty much in the same area, just outside the 6-yard box. Somebody made that run inside to that's 3 yards before the goalkeeper.
He's the front, touched down and not too far away by Leonard. Strike cracked it. It's a huge deflection. Right on the stroke of half time. Everton have got themselves level. Huge size of fortune. No care about that amongst the Everton supporters. And in the first half, in which they not really not concerned too much, they found a way to beat it. Fulham won, Everton won. Well, they've been pressing Everton, sloppy defending from Fulham. It wasn't a great ball for Leonard to come up points. There wasn't a lot of playing over his own teammate Joachim Anderson. Decent strike for Mikalenko. I don't think that's going to trouble Leno in the Fulham goal, but it took a deflection of Pablo Decore, and that completely deceived the goalkeeper. Nothing he can do about that, the German. Good strike for Mikalenko, and there's Decore. No, on goal. See the nicked up Andreas Pereira. Yeah, he was so close to Decore, I thought it was off the Everton man. He turned away as if it did actually come off, and didn't he, Decore? We're off Pereira. So Everton find a way level just before half time. A goal to change the mood here at Craven Cottage. It does go down as his goal. It looked as if it was on target from Mikalenko. It will be his first Premier League goal of the season, cancelling out Raul Jimenez's effort earlier in the first half. David Moyes' side dragging themselves on level terms. All square here at the break. 1-1. Everton 1.
I've seen treetops all day long. Singing his song. All the little birds on Draper Street, laughing and round, go tweet, 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 rock, 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 rock.
Travel happy with up to $2,000 travel delay coverage. If it's happy travelers, it's income insurance.
It's more than just coffee. With IG, you can trade the world around you. It's more market insights for the curious. It's more of everything you need to trade more of your world.
The clock is ticking, Ethan. The fate of every soul on earth is the open possibility. I need you to trust me.
The race for the FedEx Cup continues in the Cruise Championship. For the first time, players on tour descend upon historic Philadelphia Cricket Club as the city of brotherly love opens its arms to a star-studded field. Yes. Hi. About my it's interest when we want for patients. What I did was double what was advertised. When we double, 1 is 2. Please, just answer me. 1. How could you rate your loan experience? Press 1.
Oh, it shouldn't be this hard. At Mandela, we make loans simple and transparent. Unlock the loan options and the confidence to choose the right loan. Only on Mandela.com.
Get the price for everyone at Canadian People 127. But safety beat does inside. At the credible price for every now. Call 6241 0241.
If you're happy and you know it, go Eco.
Eco! If you're happy and you see that it's Eco.
Eco.
If you're happy to control it.
Then a smile really show. If you're happy and you know it, choose. Perfectly Air Daikin.
Blueberry rises. On the side. The big one. Doesn't matter.
Eu sou corintiano, meu pai é corintiano também. A gente não tinha TV a cabo. A gente ia na padaria, passava o jogo, tomava um café com leite, comia um pão na chapa pra assistir o jogo do Corinthians. Meu pai sempre teve um sonho de ter um jogador. A única coisa para me tirar do futebol era pipa. Ele já tinha em mente, quando eu tivesse 6 anos, ele ia me levar para o Corinthians. E aí, quando eu completei 6 anos, ele me levou. No primeiro dia que eu fui lá, passei no teste. Minha mãe fala que eu tinha feito alguns gols, mas eu era muito novinho, né? Só alguns mais sabe que eu fiquei impressionado com o tamanho da quadra. Cheguei no Corinthians com 6 anos. E eu fui sair até 13.
When Martinelli's father retired, the family moved to the small town of Itu. He joined the local side, Ituano, making his senior debut at age 16.
There's certainly raw quality in Martinelli when he was a teenager. That electric turn of pace, the willingness to take people on, the hunger. Those were all things within him that were evident as a young player.
Como falaram que eu acho na primeira, um dos melhores clubes do mundo, mas time do mundo. Aí deu uma balançada com tipo arte. E aí foi negociando e acabou dando tudo certo.
It was a difficult surprise because
I've seen treetops all day long. And Bobbin singing his song. All the birds on Cambridge Street, loving and rocking, sweet, like
Travel happy with up to $2,000 travel delay coverage. If it's happy travelers, it's income insurance.
What's up? Just like that.
Eu sei não.
Yeah.
Nossa, tá melhor pra não. Legal.
It's more than just coffee. With IG, you can trade the world around you. It's more market insights for the curious. It's more of everything you need to trade more of your world. Every couple of years, a legend is born. The hearts of many. A new legend arises. The greatest of our time. An icon of a new era. For those who remember, we thank you. But it's time for a new crispy OG. The non-spicy chicken McCrispy signature. All eyes are on him. He's been handed one more chance. Will he take it? Yes, it's amazing. You just lost your words. He looks unstoppable. Oh, you know he's taken out. Is his streak finally over? Are we finally seeing signs of a crack?
The ball a bit.
He just has to take his chances right away back into the game. Oh, it wasn't meant to end that way. He's been handed one more chance. Will he take it?
Can you please bring your own shirt back like that? Because I'm not wearing an Everton shirt backwards. It's a pointless one. Give me a back in the middle.
Blueberry fries. Oh,
What a family shirt. You should have back in the I got nothing on. See that one? See that? See that? There's nothing on. Oh, you got a big bang.
Welcome back to Craven Cottage, where Fulham have work to do to keep their European hopes alive. They're trying to make Alenko's first Premier League goal since 2023, just before half-time. Putting Everton back on level terms. In the first half, in which they haven't threatened too much, and the results going against Fulham right now in that race for the European places. David Moyes making a long stride across from the cottage all the way across to the dugouts here, but they're all set to get back underway here in this second half. So it's looking good for Fulham early on here this afternoon, but they found themselves takes back, and they go again here instead of the start of the game that they had very little margin throughout as they try and fight their way through the crowd in front of them in the table. We see that problems after getting themselves into a good position again. Yeah, the worst thing that happened was a goal. I think it's a slack walk, isn't it? Towards the halfway, half-time whistle. And they didn't get there with a clean sheet. You're not Everton doing anything brilliant, just assistance. Harrison, it's probably back this way, but you can't make the most of that second opportunity. Battle between him and Ryan's sitting on so far here this afternoon. Ryan's sitting on the Fulham player who's had the most touches of the ball so far in this game. Was Fulham worked their goal a bit short, and now Batsy has a bit of room to step forward. Session plays the ball inside. Takes a really good touch there. And tilted up for a second. Here's Harry Wilson. 5 shots at goal in that first half, Harry Wilson. It's the most he's ever had in a Premier League game. It's just drifts beyond Daniel Smith Rowe and now pressing here forward for Everton under no pressure whatsoever. She's a good break. I think that ball was meant for Alcaraz. And was just a little bit behind the teammate, and Alcaraz made up a lot of ground to get the shot. A ball got that goal just before half time. And just started in the second half to better side. Fulham starting the second half where they began the day in a level place as things stand, and with the scoreline are up 3 o'clock games so far today. They will find themselves 3 points off both Brentford and Brighton. There's only 2 more matches after today. So just how tight things are, but a difficult situation that Fulham find themselves in. Of course, they do play Brentford at the G-Tech next Sunday. As you can see, Fulham's goal difference is so less than Brentford's right now. He comes out which is met by Anderson. Into Harrison, who just runs that ball into the penalty area. Across to Wilson. It was a needed challenge from Mikolenko, but he's picked up a bit of damage in making it. Just caught late by Wilson. Yeah, clearly a foul. It's Scouse on Mikolenko. The referee spotted that one pretty quickly. It's proven to be an important, vital player for Everton. Entirely Mikolenko, he's reliable. He's had 3 games this year. He is reliable. And touch fortuitous as well in the manner of his first Premier League goal of the season, which levelled things up just before the whistle went at the end of the first half. He's a player that does get forward plenty as well for Everton. Open play crosses more than any other player in blue this season. It's crosses charged on the wall, goes up. And the Everton supporters who corner to look forward to here, and it's a corner which they've taken quickly. Harrison to Young, his ball winner. Testing one, double deflection of the ball, and Everton will get to have another go on the other side. Great delivery from actually Mike touches it himself. Early cross. All the white jerseys in there. And they did clear the danger, but it's creaking that little bit at the moment, Fulham. Corner of the afternoon for David Moyes' side. As you mentioned in the first half, Everton have towering targets to try and take out here. We don't like those matchups. Pereira on Keane, and then Smith Rowe on Branthwaite. It took his time there, the referee down England, to decide what the outcome would be, and you can see Everton feel the decision should have gone in their favour. After telling if there was a touch from Lennon. You mentioned the matchups as well, and it's rather easy there for both Branthwaite and Keane to shrug off their markers. Because if the ball in is of real quality anyway, aiming for 1 or 2 of those players, or that they're either starting in or aiming to run in not too close to the 6-yard box, those 2 guys are not going to be able to defend against 2 big players. One touch from Smith Rowe, Sessegnon to Sessegnon. It's a difficult one to people. You're doing well. Looks like block the power behind it. And people in this level, that ball is pretty much straight at him. He sent that blow from Smith Rowe. It will be the very clear cutback. Sounds of life. Pereira and Wilson over the corner. It's Pereira who sends it in. It's dealt with at the front post, but when he goes as far as Wilson, who pulls the ball back a little bit to get something on it, but he spotted.
Jansen has wrestled across the ground. On top of a good measure, but taking any real damage up. Yeah, the problem with when you got too small again, picking up two of the best headers in the opposing side, it's all well and good if the ball never is on them. But you've got your powerful defender, weapons in the ball, Anderson and Robert Bassett, sort of protecting the goalkeeper. I don't think they have a small midfield. If they think that the delivery will get close to the guy in the goal, then the goalkeeper should be coming out to try and claim that anyway. Only two of them there, one at most. Himself under pressure once again. Quite get that ball back to Harrison. Pressure on Fulham in this second half. They have to find a victory here today. One side stubborn in recent weeks without finding too many victories. 6 draws in there, that's 10. Just one win in that time. An impressive win. City ground against Nottingham Forest. Pickford retreats to his own. Wilson spots opportunity. Jordan Pickford shoots the reactions from Jordan Pickford, who's hurt himself in the process. Probably with the right shoulder, he looks in some real distress here as the medical team charger landed really awkwardly. Had to be able to say what it was. Audacious attempt at the lob from Michael Wilson. Over the outside left, I said he's a good technician, strikes the ball well. That's really clever, isn't it? You know, he's got one chance to score a goal. Take it early. Great technique, superb execution. That's a good save for Pickford. Yeah, that's a very awkward landing. Medical attention continues on. England's first choice goalkeeper really had to reach up there to deny Harry Wilson. Plenty to admire, isn't it? The end of Wilson initially, and then the reaction save from Pickford. Very difficult for the goalkeeper. Awkward angle to fling himself back in. Great to see. Jordan Pickford looks as if he's going to be okay. A grimace on his face. And the timing of the leap as well had to be absolutely perfect. He takes another step back, or even half a step. And he's missed the opportunity to get enough elevation and tip that one either over the bar or to the side of the post. But it's not pretty quick there, actually. So it was a really good landing. Gerald Brigitte, who's just spun out for a warm-up. He's a new substitute for Everton in every Premier League game this season. He bounces at the ball, as you can see there. Just in front, behind off the touchline. Andreas Pereira front post the target once again. Once again, Everton deal with it, and then Sessegnon into that track. The ball all the way back with Bueno. Up the forwards, and Wilson on the move here. Ashley Young brings the header. Ashley Young, first start in 4 months for him. 39 years of age now, and free kick here for Everton. An opportunity for them to hold the ball in. It's going to be a yellow card as well for Sanderberger. Had to take it once he'd made his decision to commit to the challenge. Sanderberger, you know, the wins of football, or wins the football, concedes the foul, did the latter. Harrison. Young standing over this. Holding the line just in front of their penalty area. Left by Harrison, whacked in by Young. Almost flipping on.
through by Pickford. Tete uses his body well and he can just run through to Anderson. Once again. Yeah, clear directive, isn't it? In the start of the second half, the glorious stage is close to Sunderberger. It's possible. Allowing to build up to the middle of the park, and unless he's drawn out wide, very quickly signaling to Beto to take over those duties. Here's once again. That's it. Rushes up to Corey. And Smith Rowe. Boom to his right, that's step left. Now David. With plenty of players ahead of the ball here. Wilson wants to set up. Has a look. Tete. Over in front of it. Wilson now. Inside room. Plenty of goals to go. This one. 7 attempts. Try and get this one. Wilson. That may be nice for a video. Go to now. I don't think surprising that. Use of the striker there. Let's cross that one. Leave out. I think that's into the distance side as well. It's Knocker is on to score. Smith Rowe. Penny Tete in the charge. Penny Wilson in behind the side. Goes to the winner. Tete to his right hand side. Jimenez. Just leaning back as he plays across and just veers harmlessly into play. Don't really want him crossing it. What do you from there? So that ball off will be making its way to the box. Changes imminent for Everton as we approach the hour mark. Just puts yourself a bit of pressure to get to penalty. I think that gives away a free kick. We have the pressure coming in as now strides forward, pushes away.
Oh my god, that's
so he steps over the boy, waiting in there.
Oh.
Getting this very nicely placed there at Craven Cottage. Moving. Looks like any chance of real willingness, isn't it, to put himself in the right positions. Probably for the goal player, isn't he? David Moyes is sitting up and wants this game to open up. We've got two pretty good runners of the football. The two players who make way. The two players they replaced in the starting line 7 days ago. And they took this game in Everton's favour.
Should we want to drive as well? Maybe that's it.
It's a big afternoon for the drive with Neil.